Good morning, children. Let us continue with the Mughal Empire. Already you have learnt about the early great Mughals, isn't it? So who are the early great Mughals? Then they were ruled in 16th century. So around 350 years they have ruled, isn't it, these Mughals. So the first one was Babur, then came Humayun, then came Akbar, and then Jahangir, after that Shah Jahan, and finally was Aurangzeb. These are all called as the early great Mughals who just had the kingdom earlier. Then later on other people came, totally there were 17 members and they ruled for 350 years. All that you have learnt, isn't it? Now let us continue. See, economic conditions under Mughals. So financial conditions or economic conditions of the country wherever they were. So the royalty and nobles as well as the high government officials led a life of great pomp and show. That means those were in higher posts. They all were leading a very luxurious life. Very luxurious life. Those were in higher post. The peasants means the farmers. The farmers had to pay half the producers' taxes. So what they had to do? For them to have a luxurious life, they used to collect tax from whom? From the farmers. They were working in the field and they were growing crops. All the efforts they were putting. But who was enjoying their life? The nobles. That means those who were in the higher post, they were enjoying so much of their life. But these peasants, the farmers, were very much struggling. They were very hard working. And half of that, whatever the production they are doing as crops, that they had to give in the form of tax to these people. So therefore they led a miserable life. These peasants, or what you call as farmers, they had a very miserable life. But whereas the nobles, the officials, they had a very luxurious life. India had excellent trade with Central Asia, Persia, Russia, East Africa and China. So they all had, they had a relationship with all these people, trade, business with Central Asia, Persia, Russia, East Africa and China. Exports brought in a lot of wealth and traders were very prosperous. In previous class I told you what is meant by export and what is import. Export means if you are sending any, from our country if you are sending any products to foreign countries, then we call it as export. Supposing we are taking any products from the foreign countries, if you are taking, then it is called as import. So here they have said, exports brought in a lot of wealth and traders were very prosperous. So the business people had nice time, they were having lot of wealth. A number of European traders visited India and trade with European countries started. So many European members also came here and the trade started increasing. So the business became more and more. So once the business is becoming more, the trade is becoming more, automatically what happens? There will be lot of amount. So there will be lot of wealth. So prosperity will be there. Then Delhi, Agra, Lahore, Banaras, Surat, Madurai and Masulipattnam became rich trading centers. So these were all the business centers which are Delhi, Agra, Lahore, Banaras, Surat, Madurai and Masulipattnam. They were all called as the business centers. Most of the business was taking place there. Now art and architecture. The greatest contribution of the Mughals is in the field of architecture. Means the construction of buildings, tombs and then great places of tourism. All these things were during the period of Mughals. See, the greatest contribution of the Mughals is in the field of architecture. It was a blend of Persian, Central Asian and various Indian styles. So it was not of one style. It was a merging of so many different architectural styles of different countries. You can see it was a blend, means it was a merging, or what you call it as, it was a mixture of Persian, Central Asian and various Indian styles. So you can see here one Panch Mahal. This is called as Panch Mahal. During Akbar's reign, the fort at Agra was built in red sandstone. So already this previous class you have learned. So during Akbar's reign, the fort at Agra was built in red sandstone. He built a new capital at Fatehpur Sikri and fine buildings like Diwan-e-Khas, Diwan-e-Am and Jodhabai's palace. See, all these were constructed during the period of Akbar, which are Diwan-e-Khas, Diwan-e-Am and Jodhabai's palace. He also had a massive gateway built at the entrance to the Fatehpur Sikri called the Buland Darwaza. So one more was at Fatehpur Sikri called Buland Darwaza. That is also having a different architectural style, and that was during again the period of Akbar. Next, Jahangir completed Akbar's tomb at Sikandra and the tomb of Itmad-ud-Dawla at Agra. Itmad-ud-Dawla at Agra. So who did that? It was Jahangir, son of Akbar. What he did? He completed Akbar's tomb in the name of his father, Akbar's tomb at Sikandra, and the tomb of Itmad-ud-Dawla at Agra made up of marbles. It was all made up of marble. You know about Taj Mahal constructed by Shah Jahan? That is also made up of marble. The same way these buildings also were made up of marble. The walls were decorated with floral designs made of precious stones. See, the walls, in internal and external walls, they had nice paintings or designs, different types of designs. Especially, it was depicting flowers of different types, and it was made up of precious stones. See, the flowers were not painted. Actually, it was made up of precious stones. Mughal architecture reached its zenith during the period of Shah Jahan. It reached to its higher level when during the period of Shah Jahan. Mughal architecture reached its zenith, means at the topmost level during the period of Shah Jahan. He built many beautiful palaces, forts, gardens and mosques. Chief among them being the Red Fort at Agra, the Red Fort at Delhi, the Taj Mahal at Agra and the Shalimar Gardens at Lahore. See? So which are very famous here? Famous ones are, see here, he built many beautiful palaces, forts, gardens and mosques, because they are all Muslims, you know. And chief among them being the Red Fort, which is present even now. You can see that, especially during the national festivals, during Independence Day, Republic Day and all what happened, the Prime Minister go and they hoist the flag on Red Fort, isn't it? So that was when it was constructed by Shah Jahan in 16th century. See, the Red Fort at Delhi, okay. Chief among them being the Red Fort at Agra, the Red Fort at Delhi, Kempu Kote, even now we can see that. Red Fort at Delhi, the Taj Mahal, that also very famous it is. The Taj Mahal made up of marble stone, white in color. So Taj Mahal at Agra and the Shalimar Gardens at Lahore. So these were all under the period of Shah Jahan. Then the Taj Mahal is considered as one of the 7 wonders of the world. 7 wonders of the world. Adbhutagalu, what you call, you know, the 7 wonders of the world. Out of that, one is Taj Mahal, which is constructed by Shah Jahan in the name of his wife Mumtaz. In name of his wife Mumtaz, because he was loving Mumtaz so much. So when she died, what happened? He wanted to have a memory of her. For that purpose, what happened? He constructed this Taj Mahal. So actually it is Mumtaz Mahal, but later on it is called as Taj Mahal. The Moti Masjid at Agra Fort is built of marble. Again, this is also marble. See, the Moti Masjid at Agra Fort. The Juma Masjid is built in red sandstone. Juma Masjid is built in red sandstone. Most of them are sandstone or marbles. Aurangzeb's contribution to architecture is the Badshahi Mosque in Lahore, one of the largest mosques in the world. One of the largest mosques in the world. Who has constructed it is Aurangzeb. Where see, contribution to the architecture is in the Badshahi Mosque. The name of that mosque is Badshahi Mosque. Where it is? At Lahore, Pakistan. Lahore. Now let us see about the gardens. Babur was a great lover of nature and gardens. So Babur, the first one, Mughal emperor, what happened? He was a great lover of nature and gardens. He laid out many gardens all over his kingdom. Many gardens were there all over his kingdom. He laid out the Rambagh at Agra. So you can see the Shalimar Gardens here. Okay? And this you can see is a Mughal painting. Clear? Okay. So out of the Rambagh at Agra, the Shalimar Bagh and Nishat Bagh at Srinagar and the Shalimar Garden at Lahore were built by Jahangir. So all these people were, most of them were liking this architecture. architecture. Now coming to painting. So Mughals were very famous for paintings also. They liked paintings also. So the Mughals were patrons of art. The Mughal school of painting was a blend of Persian and Indian styles. How the building was constructed with a blend of Persian Indian styles, The same way when painting was also blend with Persian and Indian styles. Merging, blending means merging. The paintings were a record of happenings like court scenes. See, they used to show the court scene in the painting itself. Court scenes, then battle, war. Battle means war. And hunting scenes. They used to go to forest for hunting the animals. Even that hunting scenes. And portraits. Portraits means the photos of great personalities. Photos. That is called as portraits. So all these were given importance during the Mughal Empire, Mughal period. The art of miniature painting was first brought to India by Humayun. First it was introduced by Humayun. Babur Humayun. So let me stop it here, children. We will continue in the next class. Thank you.